So whatever my mind can see, that I will achieve. Because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. That I will achieve. Because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, to reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now.
Oh yes, my Stray Dog family, you hear that theme song. You know, it's time for me to wish you a very pleasant night, my Stray Dog family, in particular those right here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and all who are logged on the World Wide Web throughout the entire Caribbean region. And we reach as far north as Jamaica and way down south to Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela, Tambien, and Guyana, of course, we touch them as well, and our neighbors here in Montserrat. They are always glued and tuned in to Straight Talk, and we are happy for your loyalty. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and the Nevisian diaspora, yes, we have them all the way in Las Vegas, but I cover North America, of course. A whole lot of you are in North America, Texas, Toronto, New York, of course, Connecticut. I'll get in trouble here right now if I don't call Chicago, or let's say North America. Don't forget our folks in Europe, in the UK, Norma, Danny, Elsie, Leader, and the list goes on. My Straight Dog family. When I start that, I get into trouble. And over there in Germany, I haven't heard my family for a long time from Germany there. Just yeah, okay. In Asia, Taiwan, those students, hope your grades are up. And of course, Africa, my good friends over there in Kenya, trust all is well. And to the first timers, we do have first timers as well, and we welcome all to another edition of Straight Talk. And just to inform the first timers, you may have just bumped into me and wondering what's this. It's Straight Talk. It's a public service program. It facilitates and promotes all issues of national interest, be they legal, environmental, technological, social, economic, and of course, people in circus like the political issues for some reason or other. But we've tried to raise the level of national discourse nonetheless. We tried to raise the level of national consciousness by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on another occasion. And I will start on a solemn note tonight, my Straight Talk family, because I've learned of the passing of my dear friend and former colonel of the St. Kitts Nevis Defense Force, Colonel Norman Williams. He also did a stint in Customs, Her Majesty's Customs as well. Heard he has gone to the great beyond, and we extend condolences to his wife and his entire family. And for all those who have lost loved ones, I intended to go to a funeral today, and lo and behold, some bright individual turned the water off in Bird Rock, just about us going on to 2 o'clock today. There's no water in Bird Rock. Could you believe that? But we'll hear much more about that, my Street Dog family. And tonight, excuse me for trying to clear my throat here, but tonight, my Street Dog family, my short dissertation, I've given the caption, July is the 11th month on the St. Kitts Nevis calendar. But we usually address our observations in review before we go into detail with our dissertation tonight. It's going to be interesting, I can assure you. But our observation, as you will be aware, we reflect on the issues that we have raised over the weeks and months, because ensure that we get answers to our questions. They're not forthcoming from this particular government, and it's a new paradigm, it's a new form of transparency, a new and fundamental flaw in the dissemination of information, public information that is. Nonetheless, our first observation goes to the transportation or transporting water by fire trucks. And we have said before that transporting water by fire trucks is a dangerous practice that must be stopped immediately. I'm somewhat weary to accept that the current or present manager and water engineer, Cromwell Williams, who is highly trained and highly knowledgeable about water, I am somewhat cautious that he would approve or even condone that practice. It's a dangerous practice. I know elsewhere there is legislation that would govern such transportation. But the only piece of legislation related to water in St. Kitts, if my memory serves me well, is the Water Courses and Waterworks Act, Cap 1106, which was revised as at December way back in 2002. I believe I stand to be corrected. But it is an act to make provision for the regulation and supply of water for domestic and non-domestic purposes and to make provision for related or incidental matters. My Straight Talk family, so antiquated is this act that it still speaks to control of standpipes, for example. We haven't seen a standpipe anywhere in St. Kitts for a long time. At least I have not. Because we have moved water into the homes, not having people come out to standpipes with their buckets to head water. We have long past that stage, I believe. It does not, however, the act, that is, does not, however, speak to any guidelines for emergency bulk potable water, its transport and use. And that's something that needs to be addressed, no doubt. And let's just be honest, water is a necessity and must be available during emergencies. It's a public good that the government of the day has to provide at all times. But the supply of this public good must nonetheless be safe and properly handled, or additional public health problems may just arise. The use of tanker trucks is to provide potable water is generally discouraged due to the difficulty in assuring the safety and security of the water that's being transported. Notwithstanding that, during an emergency, it may be necessary to transport drinking water to facilities, or like the people in St. Peter's, to individuals in impacted areas using tankers. Excuse me, but there must be guidance for haulers or providers and the end users, the people who are receiving the water. Input must be solicited and oversight must be provided by the Department of Health, the Department of Environmental Protection, the Department of Consumer Affairs, and any other pertinent institution, and of course, the Water Services Department. Now, all liquid bulk trailers and tanks used for transportation of potable water ought to be, or should I say, shall be, of durable construction and cleanable. I am aware in the case of the United States, for example, it is stipulated that they shall be constructed of food-grade material, such as stainless steel or other material approved for drinking water contact or liquid food contact by the National Sanitation Foundation International, NSF, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA, or the American Water Works Association, AWA. The recommendation is, as well, that all interior coatings, hoses, gaskets, connections, pumps, heaters, or other water contact equipment must also be food grade or approved for drinking water by the NSF, the FDA, the USDA, or AWA. And the NSF International, I may add, it is a private organization, not government, established since 1944, and until today, it still aims to promote human health by standardizing food operations and products according to safety regulations. Yes, remember the days of the soda fountains. The NSF was the one, the organization that actually supervised and ensure that the sale of such product was good for human consumption based on the vehicle or the containers that were being disposed of. It is therefore despicable, yes, it is abominable, that the elected representative of number 8, who is a medical doctor, would be calling constituents and offering to deliver potable water by fire trucks. It has to be, my Street Dog family, it has to be despicable when he can order the delivery of water by fire trucks. Water, and this is what we captured just a few days ago, and it continues, but the representative of number 8 is calling around to constituents, asking them about their water situation and committing to transport their water by the fire truck. Now, water, just like milk or juice, is classified as a food product, And the fire trucks, or any tank trucks for that matter, must be cleaned and sanitized prior to transporting potable water. Dr. Terence Michael Drew, it is my understanding, has defied the advice of the Water Services Department and continues to direct the Fire Services Department, my Straight Dog family, to deliver water. And I can only conclude that if this continues, or perhaps it has already passed that stage, and Dr. Drew has now become an imminent and substantial danger to public health, not only in St. Peter's, but in St. Kitts and Nevis. My Straight Dog family, my second observation and for tonight relates to the National Housing Corporation. And you must note, as I have done, that the NHC has still not to date provided or constructed, or rather as part of the agreement with the East Coast housing developers, have not constructed the model homes as we were told it should have been done by June last month. I do not know if it has changed to June next year. But what we note is that the NHC is still tinkering with house designs, and as I said, we have not received the model homes for this particular project. Remember these two designs, my Straight Dog family. Remember the designs, first of all. We would remember the designs. That first design, my Straight Dog family, that first design we are seeing, was put out by the NHC for the housing fair that they had. FAIR, not FEEAR. And for some reason, the feedback was not good. There were two designs on display. That was one, and this was the other design on display by the National Housing Corporation. But all of a sudden, we have seen designs. We have seen designs now being proffered by an architectural company, and I know it's Williams Architecture, and they have now put this design, nice fancy design, for the 2-bedroom homes, as we can see there, my Straight Dog family, and this other design for the 1-bedroom home. And you know, it's very interesting. They are obviously trying everything to appeal or to attract or to incite or to really stimulate, if that's another word I can find, the appeal for these glorified half-hoggheads, I call them. So this is the last design that's been posted by NHC. We don't know if this is official. We have not heard any official word from NHC itself, but then you see they are still tinkering with the designs for the homes. The official homes were this one and this one. They were, in fact, on the NHC website. So we are still waiting, my Straight Dog family. And we are obviously, as I said, looking and waiting for the NHC to deliver as they promise. My Straight Talk family, those are my observations for tonight. There are some other observations I would have liked to address tonight, but we are going straight into my dissertation so I can give you more time to interact. Some people have told me that they do not get enough time to interact with me, so I am guided. But those are my observations for tonight. And as I said before, the caption of my short dissertation is July, the 11th month in modern St. Kitts Nevis calendar. Now, my Straight Dog family, there are 12 or 13 calendars worldwide. And here on St. Kitts and Nevis, or on Straight Talk, I should say, we have taken the liberty to add one more calendar to it, the St. Kitts Nevis calendar. Yes, there are 12 or 13 calendars. We have the Chinese calendar, the Jewish calendar, the Buddhist calendar, Islamic calendar, the Hindu calendar, and we had formerly the Julian calendar, and we ought to be familiar with the Gregorian calendar. Now, the Gregorian calendar is the one used in most parts of the world. It was introduced on February 24 with a papal bull or a papal decree, a decree from the Pope, and went into effect in October 1582 by Pope Gregory XIII as a modification of and replacement for the Julian calendar. Now, the principal change was to space leap years differently so as to make the average calendar year 365.2 days long, more closely perpetually approximating the 365.242 days for the tropical or solar year that is determined by the Earth's revolution around the sun. Now, there's also a rule for leap years. To wit, every year that is exactly divisible by 4 is a leap year, except for years that are exactly divisible by 100. But these centurial years are leap years if they are exactly divisible by 400. For example, the years 1700, 1800, and 1900 were not leap years, but the year 2000 was a leap year. And this information is sourced or gleaned from the United States Naval Observatory, which provides a range of astronomical data and products and serves the official source of time for the U.S. Department of Defense and standard of time for the entire United States. But more importantly, my Straight Dog family, since the breakup of Team Unity and the election of the Jew Labor Administration, St. Kitts Nevis seemed to have turned upside down, and that is the main reason for establishing this new and modern calendar. Everyone complains about the high cost of living. Everyone complains about the inadequate supply of potable water. Everyone complains about the political victimization. Everyone now complains about the unusual high vehicular accidents, some fatal. And everyone complains surely about the politicizing and weaponizing of the office of the Attorney General. Everyone complains about the suppression of free speech all facilitated by a disgraceful leader who displays a heart of stone and a character that is always at variance with the truth. This tyranny began on the 6th of August 2022. On that very day, Straight Talk started tracking the performance of this current maladministration. Its leader, Dr. Terence Michael Drew, has demonstrated over that period a total lack of care for the poor people in communities, and his perpetual misguided judgment continues to expose his inexperience in the governance of the country and the efficient management of its economy. Now, July is the 7th month in the Gregorian calendar, the second of the astronomical summer, and the hottest month in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it is the second month of the astronomical winter. Now, what is the meaning of July? And this is the original July, July. The month used to be called Quintilis, meaning the fifth. It has its Latin roots, and in Latin or in English translation from Latin is the fifth, Quintilis. Because it used to be the fifth month in the ancient Roman calendar. But Quintilis was renamed Julius in the year 44 BC to honor Julius Caesar after his death. So July is named after Roman dictator Gaius Julius Caesar. But how do we keep track of time? When do farmers plant their crops? And how do we know when to observe holidays, both religious and otherwise? For every farming community, the seasonal cycle of the sun is crucial, albeit for shorter periods, so too is the lunar cycle. Like agriculture, we are keeping track of this current political cycle, and the 6th of July marked 11 months of the Jew Labor Administration. But look carefully, look closely. There are 25 days remaining in the month. So it requires 6 days of August to realign the St. Kitts Nevis calendar to effectively monitor the political orbit of Dr. Drew. And there is general consensus that presently there is an imperfect system filled with political manipulation of intercalation, I call it. And without that insertion, that's what I mean, of the 6 days, the calendar would slip greatly out of alignment with the solar system, or the solar year, I should say. Hence, the month of Quintilis, or July, is from here on now officially renamed July, DREW-LIE. So we have changed Quintilis, QINTILIS, or the English July, JULI, and we have now officially renamed this month DREU-LIE, July. Now, it is quite appropriate as it epitomizes the leader about whom we discovered very early in his tenure that he has this propensity, he has this tendency, as my grandmother used to say, to lie like when a horse is trotting. And Dr. Drew obviously believes that lying is a good thing, having found out quite early that politics is a rough business, Dr. Drew obviously believes that it makes very good sense to lie. 5 years ago, my straight dog family, 5 years ago, Dr. Drew and his party colleagues hoodwinked the people of this country by signing a code of ethics. How many of us recall that some time ago that the country was hoodwinked when they signed this code of ethics?
Today we are here to let the people know that we have heard your criticisms and concerns about today's politics, and we have responded. The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party is fully committed to good governance that is concerned with the principles of responsiveness, consensus, inclusion, participation, accountability, and transparency.
But, my straight dog family, that was in opposition. And now in government, they ought to consider, I believe, two codes of conduct that most politicians, and in particular UK politicians, are supposed to follow. The Nolan Principles and the Ministerial Code. They both stress the importance of being truthful. Unfortunately, the truth does not create friendship. But I will never flinch in my support for the ordinary man, woman, boy, and girl in my country, especially the poor amongst us. No one can kill the truth. So I will not remain silent while the people in St. Peter's have no running water for days. But the representative don't care one tooth because he has moved out of the constituency and has gone to Beacon Heights to live at the expense of the people. The people in Burdock and elsewhere in East Bastia had no water from 2 o'clock today. It belatedly came back and now it's gone. But the representative, for number one, don't care either, because he too has moved out of the constituency, the heart of the constituency rather, and has gone to Frigate Bay to live, where there is water 24/7. And I am happy for the people of Frigate Bay and the southeastern peninsula. I am happy for them, my straight dog family. However, that water is bought from the Royal Utilities plant at the Marriott Hotel. And we, the taxpayers, are subsidizing that cost. So why is Congress and the cabinet discriminating against the residents of Burdock and other parts of East Bastia? As we know that. We know that, my straight dog family. There are options available to the cabinet that will allow every household in East Bastia to get potable water. I took that to the cabinet. I did. Some years ago. It was approved in principle. It never moved any place. And I can tell you, my straight dog family, I can tell you, there were options. There were options, my straight dog family, that we can look at. And there were three options, in fact. There were three options, my straight dog family. As you can see, option one, could have provided 120,000 gallons per day. Option two $240,000 per day, 240,000 gallons, beg your pardon, per day. And option 3, which I recommended to the then cabinet, 600,000 gallons per day to augment our current supply in East Basseterre. And my stray dog family, here were the calculations. The calculations assume the following. The Water Services Department production cost is $15 per 1,000 gallons. That's their best estimate. The Water Services Department commercial and domestic sales average $12 per 1,000 gallons. But the desalination options 1, 2, and 3 are priced at $31.84 per 1,000 gallons. And all these desalination prices are inclusive of electricity charges. And you can see the non-revenue water estimated at 40% means they're going to lose some water because of the leaking pipes, my stray dog family. But this is the options that went to cabinet, and Congress must have used that particular submission and give him kudos. He got his government, his cabinet, to really approve the augmenting of water from the royal utilities over there at Marriott. Now, my stray dog family, how many of us remember? There is also a desal plant still lying idle at La Valley. That plant is lying idle at La Valley, procured under the Douglas Labour administration, that I tried to commission during my time as minister, but again, to no avail. 200,000 or 2 million gallons per day it can produce. We looked at it, and my stray dog family, from all reports, the same company that did the same engineer that did the Royal Utilities plant, did this one as well, in good condition. Certain things needed to be done. Again, I was pushed back, and the Ministry of Finance said it was all tied up in part of the land for debt swap. But the government, I argued, had 51% shares in the bank. And that's a public good that could have been used. But the representative of the area, number 5, I must admit, was not quite supportive, it seems, because his response to me, when the plans were rolled out for us, that Sandy Point has no water problem. That was his blunt response to me. Sandy Point not got a water problem. But my stray dog family, that is the issue as it relates to water in the country. But my stray dog family, as we move in the heart of July, which, as I said, is the 11th month of this administration, the reasons, my stray dog family, for changing the name of the month are many and vary quite a lot. There are many reasons for changing the name of the month. One, I remember that when the government came to office, the government tried to tell us that there were no significant investment for 7 months. Could you imagine that? No significant investment for 7 months under the Team Unity administration. And I asked myself, am I hearing right? But it was repeated so many times. And you wonder why this was repeated so many times.
We have been getting calls, lots of calls, 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I imagine in other parts of the world, it is day when it is the 4 in the morning here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We have been bombarded by persons who are interested in investing in St. Kitts and Nevis. And of note, we have not seen any significant major investment in the last 7 years. And therefore, I think our people must know that people are ready to invest in St. Kitts and Nevis again.
Which people, you may ask, my Stray Dog family, are ready to invest in St. Kitts and Nevis again? Where are they? It's now 11 months, 11 long months, my Stray Dog family, and no investor has come to the fore. None, ninguno, not one, my Stray Dog family. The reasons for changing the name of the month to July was because in opposition, Terence Michael Drew said this, my Stray Dog family.
The prison project alone is providing $2 billion that can lift everybody in poverty in St. Kitts and Nevis out of poverty. But that's a whole nother big scandal by itself. Over $2 billion. That is a crime. It is a crime that the government is committing. That is a crime. Somebody needs to be brought to the court for that. It is not right that something like that should happen.
But it is a crime while in opposition. But he came to office and has signed over 3,000 certificates of registration as shares for this project. And it's no longer a crime in Stray Dog family. And his silly excuse, absurd excuse, mumu excuse, as we say in colloquial parlance, my Stray Dog family, is this.
We understand with the CBI program, one has to be mindful. Because of how the CBI program is structured, we just cannot switch off a particular project.
Did you hear that, my Stray Dog family? This is the excuse he gave.
We understand with the CBI program, one has to be mindful. Because of how the CBI program is structured, we just cannot switch off a particular project.
So it's no longer a crime when he came to the government. That's another reason for changing the name of the month to July, my Stray Dog family. One other reason as well, my Stray Dog family, relates to poverty.
This $500 and the way that they're approaching it is not lifting anybody out of poverty. So we will make sure that our people who live in poverty can be alleviated for real through our MEND program, as we mend the PAP and make it better. These are not just words.
Well, they're not words, but we have seen different actions to my Stray Dog family. Because he met over 7,000 persons on the PAP. 7,000 persons were benefiting from the PAP.
When the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party won the general elections on August 5th, 2022, there were 7,469 payees receiving either regular PAP or PAP as expanded for COVID. The monetary value for each was $3,480,000, payable to 6,960 regular PAP beneficiaries and $254,500 to PAP as expanded for COVID 509 beneficiaries. This totaled a grand payout of $3,734,500.
Yes. But remember, $500 could not lift anyone out of poverty. But he met over 7,000 persons on the PAP. But now, only 60% of those below the poverty line are receiving assistance. Or the PAP is determined by those who are below or not above the poverty line. And the poverty line, as we know it, is 1,050 US or $3,000 we use here in St. Kitts. But really, my straight dog family, there is clear, unwarranted discrimination targeted at the PLP and PAM supporters, but the net captured many Labour supporters as well, because 40% are not being given any social assistance. My straight dog family, and this came from the permanent secretary.
We paid on the 30th of June, I'll get that number for you, 5,361 households are receiving PAP at this time. Remember, when we closed applications in December, 11,639 applied. Of that number, 8,985 were eligible. All right? And so that now, if you take 5,361 from that number, it's over 60% of the applications are being paid.
Okay.
I know for some persons being in the 40%, to them it's unfair. When you take the big picture, PAP is functioning for what it's supposed to be, a social assistance program for the most poor and vulnerable in our population. So now that we have those individuals, we begin to ask them questions. What are the issues you're experiencing? What are the goals that you have?
But my straight dog family, if you have qualified, over 8,000 persons have qualified, and being qualified, you must be living below the poverty line. Then how can you discriminate against anyone who is living below the poverty line? All, young, old, single, mother, father, if they are below the poverty line, they are below the poverty line, my straight dog family. But there was never a plan to deal with those who were perceived to be PLP or PAM supporters. Because in the first instance, they budgeted only for 4,600 persons. My straight dog family, 4,600 persons were budgeted for.
The budget, we would have had a budget to cover for this year, about 4,600, just over 4,600 persons receiving this assistance. That's what would have been budgeted in 2023 budget. We know that was a significant cut to the number of persons who was receiving the $500 last year. But of course, we're trying to streamline our social assistance programs and reduce the level of dependency we have on these programs. And so that was the initial decision that was taken.
Cut the budget. So you had your plans, and the young lady had the gall to tell us she don't care. Me back strong. Me small, but me talawa. Not me. She had the gall to come to the country and say this, my straight dog family.
This is the Honorable Iceline Phillip. I am a minister with responsibility for social development and gender affairs. It's always a big talk. There's always a big talk around this. Yes, so here. So I know me back strong. I might be small, but the taller one. Okay.
Back strong. She may be small, but me talawa. And that's the arrogance of Jew and members of his cabinet. My straight dog family, can we really wait around for 4 more years of this? That must be a Himalayan task, my straight dog family. It has to be, if you look at it from any angle whatsoever. It has to be, my straight dog family, a Himalayan task to wait around. Wait around, as I said to you, wait around for 4 more years to tolerate this arrogance, this incompetence, my straight dog family. These experts, my straight dog family, these experts in everything, my straight dog family, every single thing, they are experts. But what they don't understand is how to run a government. They have no expertise in that whatsoever, my straight dog, how to run a government. And that's most important to every single man, woman, boy, and child in this country, my straight dog family. Another reason for changing the month to July, because some time ago, Dr. Terence Michael Drew spoke to the issue of food production. The cost of living is high. He's going to do something about it. He's Minister of Agriculture, going to plant more food. All these shade houses, yet the farmers can't get their lands harrowed. The tractors not available. The rain is now coming, and the farmers can't plant their land. Yet Drew said, we're going to produce more food. Not me. He said this.
We have to start producing more food. Imagine, during the height of the COVID, when the then Prime Minister was asked about food, he said the boats are coming. If persons had the opportunity to listen to the budget debate, Minister of Agriculture talked about shade houses, spoke about helping farmers to make sure they produce food. So we are looking at it to make sure that we just cannot depend on, because you can only cut to some extent. We are importing inflation. And what we have to do in this time to make sure that people can eat and live, we will do. It will cost a lot of money, which I will level with the people with. Because when we temper the cost of living, it is because the government has to invest a significant amount of money. And we have to appreciate that as well.
But, Dr. Terence Michael Drew, I look out my window every morning. The Lord blesses me with life. And I thank Him for taking me through the night and for the present morning light that I see. And the boats are still coming, but only 2 boats. Look to the roadstead or the harbor or the port, whichever you want to use. You will see 2 boats. The Tropical, and I always forget that boat for Oxford, the name, the line. And the CGM at times comes through the week, that roll on, roll off. But another reason, my straight dog family, for changing the name of the month from July to July is because he told us that he will buy, or he has already ordered, a brand new MRI. For some time now, about 10 months ago, he said very early, he has ordered a brand new MRI, my Straight Dog family. And we are still waiting on this MRI, my Straight Dog family. This MRI perhaps is being manufactured to specs, because after 10 months, we have not been able, or we have not seen, at least I have not, I don't know if you have, and that has come in secretly. But after 10 months, my Straight Dog family, the brand new MRI has not arrived, my Straight Dog family.
Your government is now just 1 month old, and we have been working extremely hard to fulfill the pledges and the covenant we have made with you. A new modern MRI has been ordered for the JNF General Hospital.
And that was 10 months ago, my Straight Dog family. And we know that money was already approved. Money was already budgeted for that MRI by the Team Unity administration. Some $5 million from revenue, with a total budget of $7.7 million. It's there, my Straight Dog family, for the eyes to see. But we also know, my Straight Dog family, we also know that Dr. Drew told the nation he had procured 15 new dialysis machines. But eventually we found out that Dr. Drew was telling a lie about 15 new machines, my Straight Dog family. Dr. Drew obviously told a lie when he said this.
I want to get into the issue of the Ministry of Health, which I'll speak to as well. We have a number of critical things that have taken place there. For example, we have new dialysis machines, about 15 of them. I'll get into that have arrived. We'll have the official presentation tomorrow.
The day before, or the day after they have arrived, he told the press, he didn't say they have arrived, and the official handing over ceremony of 15 new machines. So we asked the question, my Straight Dog family, are we to expect the same with the MRI? Will it now be a second-hand donation, or will it be a brand new MRI, my Straight Dog family? This is a pertinent question, since after 10 months, having ordered that MRI, it is yet to arrive. Would Dr. Drew tell us then it was donated? It happened before. There's no reason to believe it would never happen again. One other reason, my Straight Dog family, that we have changed the month to July, it has to do with crime. Crime, I believe, will be his Achilles heel, my Straight Dog family. Crime and violence will be the Achilles heel of Dr. Drew in this country. He inherited a situation with crime at an all-time low. He confessed this. Crime at an all-time low, my Straight Dog family.
We are happy that crime statistics have continued to be at an all-time low, particularly in terms of gang-related homicides. The Ministry of National Security has set as a target the downward trend in homicide from the previous 15-year low of 10 to a single digit. A target is also set for improving the major crime detection rate by 15%.
Yes, an all-time low. But in 11 months, Dr. Drew has navigated the ship of state to the top 10 of the most dangerous countries in the world. And that saddens my Straight Dog family.
The most dangerous places to travel to for 2023, and this is based on Statista.com, coming in at number 9. And I would never imagine this island to be number 9 for murder rates, but it's St. Kitts and Nevis.
And no one should imagine our beautiful paradise, land of tranquility, to be number 9 at this stage in our development, having reduced our murder rate to an all-time low, to use the words of Dr. Drew, to be number 9 on the top 10 of the most dangerous countries in the world. My Straight Dog family, under Dr. Terence Michael Drew, the reason for changing the name of the month to July is because this country is no longer safe. And the ordinary man would tell you that, my Straight Dog family.
People dying left, right, and center, and there is no solution coming. The place is unsafe. Everybody terrified for their life.
Yes, my Straight Dog family. Under Dr. Terence Michael Drew, everyone is terrified for their life. That's the testimony of a young man. And no wonder why. Dr. Drew wanted to make a wholesale change to the police high command. He took the advice of one of his advisors. Very real. He did that. Dr. Drew did not have the courtesy to meet with the National Security Advisor, Major General Saunders, after 11 months in office. But Straight Talk understands Major General Saunders is demitting office in a few weeks. Straight Talk has also understood that Dr. Drew has recruited an American advisor to Commissioner of Police Sutton and has earmarked his father-in-law as the new National Security Advisor. My Straight Dog family, the committee has inducted the Attorney General Garth Lucian Wilkin and Dr. Terence Michael Drew into the Hall of Political Shame, the first two inductees. Now, for the third time this month, will be renamed. Recall that Quintilis was renamed Julius in the year 44 BC to honor Julius Caesar after his death. So July is named after the Roman dictator Gaius Julius Caesar. We now place the dubious honor onto Dr. Terence Michael Drew and hereby rename this month July, the 11th month in the modern St. Kitts Nevis calendar. That's my story tonight, my Straight Dog family, and I'm not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And if you're so minded to call, the numbers are 869 663 6672 and 646 829 6672. You can access the overseas line via WhatsApp if you're so inclined. I still have not sorted out WhatsApp on my local phone. Some people are still trying to get me via WhatsApp on the local phone. But if you dial the overseas number 646 829 6672, not my local number, not my personal telephone number. There are only two numbers for the program. I will not answer my telephone number, private number, as long as I'm on radio. I'm live. Let's go to the lines, my Stray Dog family. You are live. I want to, please, I want to implore you to respect others. Of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Try to be fair to all concerned. Let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines. Caller, you live. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Yes.
Are you there, caller?
Good night.
Good night.
Yes, I am here.
Yes, my lord. How art thou?
I'm humble and peaceful.
Great.
I am glad I'm the first one to call in. And I need to give the Federation people an advice. Judging from the past to the present, politicians have made their promise for the good and the better moving forward. And there is a saying, promises are comfort for fools. We have PAM, we have Labour, we have PCM, we have PLP, now we have the Labour again. Aren't you fed up? Aren't you exhausted of these promises being fulfilled? Aren't you fed up of these names of these parties? Why repeating, flip up with these parties? Vote for a new party. A new party is on the right. All parties will be punishment. But if you mean damn white, damn poor, damn tree fans, do you want this to happen at full time? It is better not to support those who are already damn young. Quantize your lead with a new party. The new party is dignity. Dignity will restore all that to suppress. That make you depressed. Give Dignity Party a new chance. Dignity already figure out what to do for the new and upcoming election. Dignity will give you, whether your constituency is in the minority or majority, a budget so that the constituency leader can help your immediate needs. Because when government appointed civil servant to do their work, they become judge, jury, and executioner. If you did not vote for this party, you're not doing anything. You had to be back in this party to get. And it is a selfish political of the people. You all are humans, and you deserve your dignity to be respected and not suppressed and depressed. As you can see set before you all, what is going on in St. Kitts? I felt the squeeze and witnessed what is going on. These governments, they are not honest, they are not nice. Give a new party a chance. Refrain from the party line. Refrain from party line. Vote for dignity. My dignity is your dignity and your dignity is mine. And that's what I need to restore. The country need dialysis machine. The country needs MRI machine. Where are they? What are the needs for the common man right now? You need to live. You need to restore your human dignity. Thank you very much. That's a pitch. And last but not least, wherever a good constituency can be found, a candidate for constituency can be found, there is a number you can call and to be nominated. Vacancies are open. 1347-460-8192. The lines are open for 8 candidates in St. Kitts and 3 candidates in Nevis. Write down that number. I will come again. Thank you for this time, Patch. So, no one can stop you. You are and you are. Thank you for this time.
Thank you for your contribution as well. My dear brother seemed to be advertising a new party, if I got you right, a new party named Dignity, and he has provided a number to contact, a contact number for those who are interested. Let's just go to the lines. Caller, you are live. It's 17 past 9. You're live, caller. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Are you there, caller? Okay, I'm not hearing that, caller. If it's something wrong with your phone, caller, please call back. But my Stray Dog family, we are discussing our short dissertation tonight under the caption July, which is the 11th month of the St. Kitts Nevis, or in the St. Kitts Nevis calendar. I'll take a few emails as well. Let's see if I get this call again. Caller, you're live, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello, Mr. Straight Talk.
Yes. How are you, my brother?
What can I say, man?
I'm hearing.
Feeling so good to hear your voice again one more time.
Likewise, I'm hearing something in the background. Could you turn your equipment off or something that's in the background there? I want the whole wide world to hear you.
Good. It's already did.
Yes.
Mr. Straight, I was trying to get in touch with you because there was a farmer on Green FM was making a lot of noise sometime in last month. And he was saying, and they interviewed me, and he said, nothing ago. And I said, I hope Straight Talk get this thing for this farmer. But you know what? He said, when we talk to the minister, Minister Ghana, and he said, when he come back, he gonna take us. And 3 years we ain't see him. I said, but what's going on with this thing? The minister, now I speak to them. So last week, now, I don't know if it's him, but one of them come back again and he said, the minister says, by 2025, I'm going to get, we're going to have all this thing ready, that we're going to have a big production of cutting back. He said, there's no way we can get this thing done. He said, look, we don't even quarter reach our destination yet, and he's talking about 2025. We're going to make a big turnaround. Where's that going to happen? We now get nothing. And I'm saying, but people not listening this thing. So I don't know if you didn't get it, but there was that farmer and the radio talking, and he just talking about what's going on and all things going bad. The minister is not helping them. I say, okay, well, hey, we're going to see. But Mr. Stratak, I just want to thank you because of what you are doing. You're doing a wonderful job. Understand? And you keep doing what you're doing because I recognize people, I get this thing now, and everybody understand what's going on. So you continue to do what you got to do. Understand? They said that they're going to put a house in Canary and one in Murphy somewhere. So we in Canary, they're going to put it, I don't know. Because I'm driving to Canary there, and that place, I think wherever they're going to put that house, I don't know. But hey, we just got to tip our hat to them. Let them do what they got to do. Understand? We just have to follow. We can't do the thing. Mr. Stratak, what's going on with your case and with the Attorney General? We ain't hear nothing more.
Well, we'll keep you updated. As soon as we get an update, I'll inform you.
Okay.
Yes, we'll keep you updated. Yes.
Well, we are patiently waiting. You know, we just want to make sure that everything is on the road still. Yep. All is well.
Oh, you're patient.
Mr. Stratak, we had a mass shooting here in Philadelphia last week. And you hear about it?
Yes, I heard of it, yes.
But you know who committed? A black guy. And it's nowhere in the media. Because you know what? They might try to hush this thing down. The Megas on TV, I'm not taking you off the program, I just want to show you what's going on. The Megas on the phone and saying that he wants people to go to sue the gun owners and this and that who make this thing happen. You know what man do? He turn around and find that if the doctor he going to because the doctor gives the guy the medication to make him chances and he gets haywire. So now he gone after the doctors instead of gone after the gun owners. You see where this case going? I same thing happened to St. Kitts. St. Kitts not looking and talking about the government. They just say, well, look, everything is well, everything is well. Mr. Stratak, I just want to thank you. God bless you. I'll see you when I see you. Be good.
See you when I see you, my dear brother. Be good as well. And be safe there in Philadelphia. All here from Philadelphia. Ambassador, today is July the 10th, 2023. Patches, people in St. Kitts are rightly complaining about the lack of police presence. Patches Wilkin got 2 police at his beck and call. Congress has 2 as well. You know Jeffrey ain't going to lose out. He got 2. Dougie got 3. And Terrence got 6. And his son got 1. Marsha lose out. She got 2 soldiers. Patches, the force is understaffed. And these smart, know-all ministers still take the police from the people who hire them. What is wrong with this picture? Fair share across the Narrows was overheard saying, Nevis got soldiers and police. Me ain't putting me nose in that. Me a work, me way round the PM to get what me want to make me look good. Before he get me, the judge work, tell him me want modo. What sort of language is that writing? I'm struggling to get that. But I hope you understand that, my Straight Dog family. This other email reads, Patches, good evening. Over the weekend, Dr. Drew caused so many confusion and havoc in Bastia. Imagine Drew sent police force with big guns to remove the young coconut vendors from 4th Street. Now, Patches, I understand that under the former administration, street vendors were removed with no plans whatsoever, and last August, people voted overwhelmingly for Drew and Labour to go back on the streets to do vending. Instead, Drew is keeping poor people and the young men who are trying to do an honest job and make an honest pay from plying their trade. Imagine the young men have spoken out and are asking Drew if he want them to go rob and kill. Patches, Drew do not care about people and especially poor people because his salary is sure. He has a deputy commissioner going around harassing poor people. And that's the same deputy commissioner who was up in arms with Timothy and made so many people lives, beg your pardon, and live in hell during COVID. Shame on you, Dr. Drew. You need to leave the street vendors to ply their trade to make money. But you think that is bad? Drew Run went to social media to say he will find permanent space for the street vendors. So Drew is telling them to go off the street until we find somewhere to put you, and we all know that will not happen until next election. Drew, you and your labor need to go right now. You don't have a clue. Pack up and go read this email. My Stray Dog family, it's 9:26. If you have just joined me, we are looking at our short thesis tonight entitled July, 11 months of or in the St. Kitts Nevis modern calendar. And what we address, my Straight Dog family, in terms of the calendar is that we have learned, or empirical data would inform us that the calendar was renamed 2 times before. But let's go to the lines, and I'll get back to that, my Straight Dog family, after this call. Caller, you're live.
Okay.
Hello, caller.
Yeah. Good evening, Patrice.
How are you, my brother? Good evening.
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. You too?
I am peaceful.
Oh, well, I'm peaceful. If you're peaceful, I'm peaceful too.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is good in Volcano, okay?
Oh, yes. I haven't heard any news from the volcano for a long time. So happy for that.
Yeah, well, what I did, I set up something in there to cool off the global heating, warming.
Okay. Culture.
Good night, Mr. Straight Talk, and all the listeners, all the Straight Talk families who are listening to Straight Talk tonight. That is the first caller, he's right, you know. A promise is a gift to a fool. And I always believe that when I first heard it. Now, let me start with this. This good for nothing, worthless, lying boy from up Monkey Hill. Come on and say, as usual, nothing, no investment in 7 years. Now look what happened. He's telling a big lie because the only investment that you do since the deal is to invest in an airline company. Because every week, all of them gone away. Who ain't gone away in the 2s, gone away in the 5 and 4s. So that is the only harvest the investor come to St. Kitts that he invested in since he in there. Now, I want to say this too. Joe is a liar. Terrence Joe is such a big liar that he keep telling people about, he ordered a new MRI machine. That I will not believe that until Patches, Timothy, and other faithful, truthful politicians go and examine that. Yeah, you hear the quality of politicians I call true, honest, and faithful. No lawyers going there. Because he say he get 15 new dialysis machine, and I ain't gonna hush until he show them right. Because we know dialysis machine, they are not to play with. Because what they are used for, we all know, is to clean people's blood. And when people's blood is contaminated with a disease, and that blood has to go through those tubes in those dialysis machines, after a while, they have to be condemned. So if Dr. Drew say he is the Minister of Health, health is a serious, serious thing. And he should not have those two portfolios, health and finance. He should have stick with health because he's a doctor. So when he bring those dialysis machines that been used for 20 years, they're all contaminated. And God forbid that these things should happen as a result of using those contaminated garbage. This morning I listened to the death announcement on ZOZ, and it was 10 names called out who did. And those are not all. We still have a lot more to be called out. No, God forbid that if he should put those wash up garbage dialysis machine up in Joseph in France hospital or which any one of these hospitals you can, it's only Joseph in France those things are operated in. And if anybody gets sick up there, brother, it would not be one person as long as they put them in action. So I am warning people, please be very observant when you are go to the hospital. And they recommend you have to go on dialysis machine. Have your personal doctor or somebody to check them out. Rather than man is to lie. He needs to go to Pakistan to live for the wrong things he has done and the wrong thing that he's doing and the wrong thing that he will be doing because he cannot do right. Because he knows nothing named good and concern and love for people. Patches, I will come back. Thank you for so long.
Thank you for your intervention, my Stray Dog family. And this message reads, Patches, Drew is going to be down 1 year in 30 days. So it now seems that he must finish 4 houses per day. He must finish 4 houses per day in order to meet the 2,400 homes in the first term. Remember, his term is only 1,825 days. That's 365 multiplied by 5. And for concrete to fully set for a flooring in a minimum of 7 days just for flooring, is a minimum of 7 days just for flooring. To me, this seems like Labour-matics, the song New York Joe had sung some years ago. Reads this email. This other email reads, my Straight Dog family, life is too hard in St. Kitts. The crops are not yielding. No meat to eat with your rice. No milk to go with your cornflakes. And no water to shower. You gotta buy drinking water. This makes me sad, and I'm deeply in tears because it's getting worse under this Labour failure government. Life is so hard that the money is not spreading. Life in St. Kitts is filled with pain that even the Haitians are leaving to live elsewhere. If that is not proof enough that life is hard in St. Kitts, then I don't know what is. Life will continue to be hard once that Labour government is in place. The place is dark. There is a very dense cloud hanging over St. Kitts, which tells me that something is altogether wrong with Labour. Where is the help Drew spoke so boldly about during his campaign speeches? We need a change now before Drew tell any more lies on us. It's like zombies walking in the place, reads this email. This other email reads, my Stray Dog family, I'll dispense or dispose of most of these emails. Patches, good night. Prime Minister Drew lie no tail, reads this other email. You remember when he said the country in red? Well. But anyway, Patches, I need to know what is happening to the youth explorers this summer. What have the children of the Federation of the Nation, done to suffer such brutal attack by the Jew administration? Patches, tell Jokey Jew, we need water in Monkey Hill. We are suffering up here. I wish 2027 can come tomorrow. Team Unity, under the leadership of Akila as Minister of Health, had already allocated the funds for the MRI machine. Finally, I did research via Technocrat in Canada, and I learned that the AK-96 dialysis machines are not brand new. They were discarded by a hospital in Canada with this other email. I just saw on Facebook where they are saying Burna Boy cost St. Kitts 1.3 million. Well, word on the street is they couldn't pay him, so everyone he came with everyone he came with, that should read, got his St. Kitts passport. If that is true, you need to tell the people the truth. Jew, you lie, it's must be in your genes. Reads this email. Good evening from Anguilla. Reads this email. Is Terence Jew the biological son of Mick Stokes deceased? Writes this email. Yes, that's a rhetorical question, but I'm sure that will come in time. Patches, good night. Finally, I want to thank you for the cloak of anonymity. School summer vacation has started. Over the past few years, my children attended the Youth Explorers Camp during this period, where they were led and secured, and secured for at least 2 weeks. All of a sudden, under the vicious Labour government, I am not hearing anything about the explorers. But it is okay for Jew's son to be properly secured on a daily basis by resources paid by the taxpayers' money of this country. His son be secured and live the best life, while the poor children of the country must continue to suffer. Dr. Jew, time longer than twine, reads this email. Patches, good night. I would like to ask Minister Maynard, what is the status on the desalination plant? Every night by 6 p.m., water goes. This is ridiculous. Water is essential. Desalination is the way forward. Promise, make friends, performance, keep them. Reads this other email. Good night, Patches. Jew keeps victimizing hard-working citizens in this country. Over 30 persons have been victimized, sent home. Others demoted because they do not support Dr. Jew. Jew, this is not the way to manage the country. Everyone is needed to push country forward, not only your few good friends and Labour supporters. Jew is going down an evil and deadly path, and he won't be able to get out. Everybody will turn against Jew. Most of the country is so fed up of Labour because we are accustomed to much better living. He said he will not victimize anyone, but he's sending home all his seemingly enemies to replace them with close friends and Labour supporters. Jew Golas reads this email. I'll take one more email before I get back to the calls. Good night, Patches. I look forward to your show each week. However, please ask your callers to show some respect for the Prime Minister. When Crook used to call former Prime Minister biography, I and the other people did not like it. Stop referring to PM as boy from Monkey Hill and good for nothing. So disrespectful, reads this email. Yes, my Straight Talk family. That's something we can address. That's not too difficult. Good night, Mr. Liburn. I really do wish your committee would have given us, the general public, the chance to vote on the eligibility of the two inductees into the Hall of Shame. For those two individuals would not have been considered against the criteria that one must be sane, normal humans capable of feeling guilt, remorse, and shame, reads this other email. My Straight Talk family, it's now 9:41. It's 90 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. And if you have joined me for the first time, Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. And Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes all issues of national interest. It is a participative program in that we include your calls and your emails. If you're minded to call, the numbers are 663-6672, or there's an overseas line 646-829-6672. We also provide the cloak of anonymity for those who do not want to be heard. We allow you access via our email platform, and the email address is straighttalkpatches@gmail.com. That's STRAIGHTTALKPATCHES@gmail.com. And we each time present a short thesis, a short dissertation, where we look at a particular topic in the context of what is happening in our beloved country. And tonight, we have officially renamed the 11th month as July in the St. Kitts Nevis modern calendar. Because since the breakup of Team Unity and the election of the Jew Labour administration, my Straight Talk family, St. Kitts Nevis seem to have turned upside down, or been turned upside down. And that is the main reason for establishing this calendar. Everyone complains, my Straight Talk family. Everyone complains about the high cost of living. Everyone complains about the inadequate supply of water, potable water, and everyone complains about political victimization. Most recently, everyone is bothered with the unusual high amount of vehicular accidents, and some of them have been fatal. Everyone complains about the politicizing and weaponizing of the office of the Attorney General, my Straight Talk family. And everyone complains as well about the suppression of free speech in this country, all facilitated by a leader who displays a heart of stone and a character that is always at variance with the truth. The tyranny began on the 6th of August 2022, and on that very day, Straight Talk started tracking the performance of this current maladministration. Its leader, Dr. Drew, beg your pardon, has demonstrated a lack of care for poor people, the poor people in our communities. And his perpetual misguided judgment continues to expose his inexperience in the governance of the country and the efficient management of its economy. July is the 7th month in the Gregorian calendar, the second of the astronomical sum, beg your pardon, and the hottest month in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere is the second month of the astronomical winter. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding.
Okay, till I return. I haven't heard the Bible man tonight. I don't know if he can come in after me, but we are waiting. That is, in the New Testament, somewhere in the New Testament, the Lord Jesus, he underlined 7 things that the Lord Jesus Christ hated. And I'm going to name 3. A proud look, hands that shed innocent blood, and a lying tongue. The Lord hates it. That is, you used to play for rivals, and so therefore you are called a footballer. Hunks used to box, so he's a boxer. I used to race bike, so I'm a racer. When someone speaks the truth, you say, well, that person is very truthful. When someone speaks a lie, you call them a liar. You got children tell lies, and you got adults tell lies. Dr. Joe is an adult liar, and he is a stranger to the truth. That's what he is. He tells too much lie. He said he's not going to victimize nobody. And from the moment he takes office, that is what he has been doing, straight. And the latest person being victimized is one up the bay. Right up the bay by the fishery. That's the latest one. And that one day who being victimized is a PLP supporter. Why you turn with people and they haven't broken any law on the place of employment? Got to be wicked. If somebody do not break the rules and regulation of where they work, and they're doing their work satisfactory, why turn them away? Because of political affiliation that the person is attached to? There is where he comes in. Look what he said about the dialysis machine. They get 15 new dialysis machines. He said they new, but then he still say the majority of them is good. So when you can split the new word to majority, that means something is wrong. It's a lie. Some good and some ain't no good. So I am calling on the people them again. It is time for everybody to stop talking. Let us act. Look what he do with the poor coconut men them today. What you want him to do, the people them, whether they get the pop money and they buy the cutlass or whatever it is to carry the coconut to sell. But those guys were not impeding any pedestrian on the cross and the sidewalk. They were not impeding any vehicular traffic. They're out of the way. And they go and move them, tell them no. They ain't supposed to sell no coconut there and all this going to do. Where they want them to go? Where they want them to go? They do not have a stall of their own in the market. They're selling the coconut. Once they're not impeding the free movements of people and vehicles, they're not breaking the law. And the police went to move them with guns around them. For what? So when the fellows them say, okay, we can't sell the coconut, and they resort to something else, then they're going to say, well, oh, the young people them and these rascals and all kind of things. Stop it, man. Run the country. How the country is supposed to run. When some political platform will say, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that, and all kind of thing, but then you're doing completely opposite to what you preach. That is, thank you very much. This is all I have to say for the rest of the night. Good night until Thursday, God willing. Watch your back.
Thank you, my brother. Good night until we connect, as you say, on Thursday. Patches, we did not hear you talk about mixed Stokes. All we heard about is Sister Sensia. I heard that his real sister from his father's side is a nurse in New York, Mrs. Jew, and that fact reads this email, the Straight Dog family. My Straight Dog family, you may have joined me late, and we're happy to have you. And we looked as we wind down tonight's programming at the month of July, DREWLIE. It's official renaming of the 11th month in the St. Kitts Nevis calendar. We looked at the performance to date of the incumbent administration. And we made mention or recommendation or made mention of the 7 principles of public life. And these were first set out by Lord Nolan in 1995, some 28 years ago. And what always pop up to me is the 6th principle, which is honesty. And the text states that holders of public office should be truthful. And Dr. Jew and others as well have each time used the parliament to deliberately mislead the listening public. But he's in fact misleading the House by the way of any false statements he has made. And the Speaker must do her job and ensure that in future he desists. Caller, you're live.
That is good night.
How are you, my brother? Good night.
I'm fine, man. Oh, Patrick's capitalism gone wild.
Mm-hmm.
That is, when I see how some poor people is getting it now, can't even get a meal. I mean, you try to establish that for 7 years. It's like you were seeing what going on for 7 years. So you come up with giving the poor people in the constituency a meal, in constituency 1, and now it's like everybody want to know where the meal coming from a Sunday. Things hard touches. You know, that Sunday was out in Newtown, meet up couple guys, and they're telling me how, you know, dirty Newtown is now, and I must continue talk because it's really dirty. But that is what bothering me, is that the parliamentary subsistence, the
representative
constituency owns, it's 2005 or 2005.
Allowance?
How much it is, Patches? 2005? The constituency allowance.
It's a good question. I think it's 2005. I stand to be corrected though.
Well, why is it they can't get on to chicken them who trying to establish a food mart and going around and feeding these homeless on Sunday? Why this man in the constitution the representative in the house cannot meet them and at least give them $11,000 out of that so they could cover everybody in the different constituency. Why? And I plead to them, if they don't do that, I can come at all of them, because you take up your money and give poor people in the constituency, and the people them take them kind of thing for granted. Today, the ball in. I didn't tell them, the stone that they built to refuse. One this stone will bring water when they're coming for toss. Have a good night, package, and keep on coming to the poor people. Have a good night.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother Jam Down. Always so
going to Vegas.
Very passionate about his views and very forthright as well. And we always welcome these calls. But at 4 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour, and just for those who may have joined me for the first time, as Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. Let's go to the lines. My Straight Talk family. Caller, you're live.
Good night, how are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
How was your weekend?
Restful, my dear. Restful. Went to church.
I'm thanking God for my still life with all what's going on. Understand? I'm in my right mind. I went to a funeral today. For the whole week, there's a lot of funerals, so we have to thank God when we are alive. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you a question. Your title or surname is by mother or father side, and the rest is history. One going on holiday, giving up a portfolio, too much pressure, and the pastor getting home too late at night. That's what they get when they cheat. They could not beat you. Who do that? Patches do that. The 1,005 promise why they dear. People bawling. It's a lie, but if you're going to town, you don't have to hear people bawling because water coming out their eye. But they feel it. I want to ask a question now. So, Tapley, will I stay at government house or government headquarters? You know? Hello?
I really don't know.
Because can't hear you when you're doing remarks and so. So I had to ask what I want to ask. So I'm asking the best Prime Minister that they don't acknowledge him. So he must not sit with them when the funeral, never mind is a state funeral or whatever, because they're only going out of shame because they never like the man. So they don't see that they're going to go to show themselves. And late now, so have a good night. Another time.
Have a good night as well.
Okay?
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for your input.
I can hear. Oh, okay. Culture, good night. And all my friends who just meet me and say, well, I just hear you. Whether I sound good or bad, let them talk if something is good to say. Everybody doesn't, I hear you, this and that. I said, no, you could know things when you know things, talk or you know. He said, but more people speak out. Things will go better, you know. Because you're not going good. All right, see you.
Have a good night, my
you too.
Dear Alice in Wonderland. Sounds like Alice in Wonderland. And my Straight Talk family, as we wind down tonight's programming. Again, we looked at the caption for tonight. July is the 11th month on St. Kitts Nevis modern calendar. We officially renamed the month. And the month used to be called Quintilis, which is the Latin for the fifth, because it used to be the fifth month in the ancient Roman calendar. Quintilis was renamed Julius to honor Julius Caesar after his death. So July is named after the Roman dictator Gaius Julius Caesar. So tonight we have officially renamed the month July, and it is the 11th month of or in the St. Kitts Nevis calendar. And just like the government has a fiscal year which runs from January to December, we do have a political year which runs from August 6 to August 6, and it sounds strange in that we are in the 11th month of July, but there are 25 more days left in July, and it now encroaches back into August to make it a full month and a full year for the administration. But how do we keep track of time? A question we may ask. When do farmers plant their crops? And how do we know when to observe holidays, whether religious and or otherwise? For every farming community, for example, the seasonal cycle of the sun is crucial, albeit for shorter periods, so too is the lunar cycle. So like agriculture, we are keeping track of this current political cycle, and the 6th of July mark 11 months of this current administration. But like I said, there are 25 days remaining in the month. So it requires 6 days of August to realign the St. Kitts Nevis calendar to effectively monitor the political orbit of Dr. Jew. And there is general consensus that presently there is an imperfect system filled with political manipulation, beg your pardon, of intercalation, I call it. Meaning that without that insertion of the 6 days, the calendar would slip out of alignment with the solar year. Hence, the month of Quintilis, or July, is from here on now officially renamed July, Drewlie. It is quite appropriate, as it epitomizes the leader about whom we discovered very early in his tenure that he has this propensity, he has this tendency, as my grandmother would say, to lie like when a horse is trotting. But Dr. Jew obviously believes that lying is a good thing, having found out quite early that politics is a rough business. Dr. Jew obviously believes that it makes very good sense to lie. But that, back then in the opposition, they hoodwinked the country by publicly signing a code of ethics. But that was in opposition. And now in government, we recommend that they ought to consider two codes of conduct, namely the Nolan Principles and the Ministerial Code, which both stress the importance of being truthful. Unfortunately, truth does not create friendship, but I will advocate for the unvarnished truth, because I will never flinch in my support for the ordinary man, woman, boy, and girl in my country, especially those who are poor. No one can kill the truth. So I will not remain silent. I cannot. When the people have no running water in St. Peter's and even here in East Bastard and elsewhere, my straight dog family, in Kean. However, my straight dog family, as we wind down, we move into July, which, as I said, is the 11th month of this administration. And we gave many reasons for changing the name of the month, which are numerous. Drew said there's no significant investment for 7 months. He spoke of the $1 billion prison as being criminal. But when he got in and signed over 3,000 CORs, he said it can't be switched. He said $500 cannot lift people out of poverty. But he made 7,000 and more on the PAP. Re-registration generated 12,000 applications, of which over 8,000 they said were qualified. Yet only 5,000 are receiving PAP. 60% of those below the poverty line are the ones receiving PAP. What about the 40%? If they are below the poverty line, then they ought to receive their PAP. That's my submission here from Straight Talk.
We paid on the 30th of June. I'll get that number for you. 5,361 households are receiving PAP at this time. Remember, when we close applications in December, 11,639 applied. Of that number, 8,985 were eligible. All right? And so that now, if you take 5,361 from that number, it's over 60% of the applications are being paid.
Okay.
I know for some persons being in the 40%, to them it's unfair. When you take the big picture, PAP is functioning for what it's supposed to be, a social assistance program for the most poor and vulnerable in our population. So now that we have those individuals, we begin to ask them questions. What are the issues you're experiencing? What are the goals that you have?
It's only one picture, no big picture. You qualify for PAP or not. You're on the poverty line or not. And if you are below the poverty line, then you must be captured by the social safety net. It's simple, straightforward. Another reason for changing the name of the calendar. For almost 10 months, Drew said he procured a new MRI.
Your government is now just 1 month old, and we have been working extremely hard to fulfill the pledges and the covenant we have made with you. A new modern MRI has been ordered for the JNF General Hospital.
That's 10 months ago. So are we to expect the same results with the MRI procurement as obtained with the 50 new dialysis machines? Will we now receive a second-hand donated MRI? These are pertinent questions. And finally, my Straight Dog family, crime. And that will be the Achilles heel of Dr. Drew. He inherited a situation with crime at an all-time low. But in 11 months, Dr. Drew has navigated the ship of state to the top 10 of the most dangerous countries in the world. Homicides in just 6 months have catapulted to 18, 17 of which are gun-related. My Straight Dog family, under Terrence Drew, my Straight Dog family, the country is no longer safe. And that's the view of everyone in St. Kitts and Nevis.
People dying left, right, and center, and there is no solution coming. The place is unsafe. Everybody terrified for their life.
Everybody terrified for their life because the place is unsafe. My Straight Dog family, the committee inducted the AG Garth Lucien Wilkin and Dr. Terence Michael Drew into the Hall of Political Shame. Now, for the third time, this month has been renamed. Recall, as I said before, Quintilis was renamed Julius in the year 44 BC. Julius Caesar after his death. My Straight Dog family. So, July is named after Roman dictator Gaius Julius Caesar. We now place the dubious honor unto Dr. Terence Michael Drew, and we hereby rename this month, July, the 11th month in the modern calendar. Caller, I can only give you 10 seconds if you can use it. Can you?
Thank you. Just two quick questions, Patches, and I need you to interact with me. What is the poverty, the number for the poverty level in St. Kitts? And number two, which minister in charge of the PAP program, is it them ordering and cut the list from what was registered previously to what it is now because of not qualified? And what deemed qualification for a person to be on the PAP program, as in respect to the poverty guideline, if they're going to go in that spirit?
Okay. Well, that's where we're going to end it. But my time is done. I know there's nobody running me, but I would like to complete the program. And as I said, the poverty line is, or the criteria was you must be getting no more than $3,000 a month. You know, the poverty line is, if you are below the poverty line, then you're not receiving $1,050 US, which is about $3,000, or just about that. The other question, as you made mention, obviously the ministry are the ones who make that final decision, or the cabinet, I should say. But very interestingly, the budget, they only budgeted this year for 4,600 persons on the PAP. So that tells the story. And I know lots of people believe that the PAP was a political stunt. But from the the applications received, over 12,000 applications received. I mean, that tells you otherwise. And this, I'll perhaps raise this up, leave you with this for tonight. And this, in fact, came from the minister, Jeffrey Hanley, who told the country this, my straight dog family.
When the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party won the general elections on August 5th, 2022, there were 7,469 payees receiving either regular PAP or PAP as expanded for COVID. The monetary value for each was $3,480,000, payable to 6,960 regular PAP beneficiaries and $254,500 to PAP as expanded for COVID 509 beneficiaries. This totaled a grand payout of $3,734,500.
And like I said, just for information, one more time, that the permanent secretary gave this number as it relates to the application received, and she said this.
We paid on the 30th of June, I'll get that number for you, 5,361 households are receiving PAP at this time. Remember, when we closed applications in December, 11,639 applied. Of that number, 8,985 were eligible. All right? And so that now, if you take 5,361 from that number, it's over 60% of the applications are being paid.
Okay.
I know for some persons being in the 40%, to them it's unfair. When you take the big picture, PAP is functioning for what it's supposed to be, a social assistance program for the most poor and vulnerable in our population. So now that we have those individuals, we begin to ask them questions. What are the issues you're experiencing? What are the goals that you have?
But my straight dog family, as I've said, poor is poor. You are below the poverty line, you are poor. But like I said, as we wind down, we have placed the dubious honor onto Dr. Terence Michael Drew. And tonight we have renamed this month July, the 11th month in the modern St. Kitts Nevis calendar. That's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. And as for always, I want to thank you, the many listeners, those who have logged on to my Facebook pages, Straight Talk with Ian Patches-Liburd and the Honorable Ian Patches-Liburd. And on YouTube as well. We are easy to get there. Straight Talk with Ian Patches-Liburd. There are those of you who just listen. There are those of you who use the cloak of anonymity and send emails. There are those of you who call. All of you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches-Liburd, and God's will, we will connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. Yes, life is hard, but place your faith and trust in Almighty. He will see us through. So whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve, but you just got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light and thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye until we connect on Thursday.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceive that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees